The Russian armies are still struggling to gain a foothold on the territory of Ukraine. The war is coming to the end of its 9th month. However, it is impossible to ignore Russia's successive failures. Despite its failures, it has not withdrawn all Russian forces from Ukrainian territory. Experts wonder whether Putin will continue the war until there are no more soldiers to fight. What we see on the battlefield is that Russia is not the power it once was. In 2014, it invaded Ukraine and annexed Crimea as a result of the clashes. It thought it could make the same gains again, but there was no old Ukraine in front of it. From 2014 until today, it has been preparing for any attack from Russia. In addition to being professionally prepared militarily, many countries supported Ukraine because it was facing an unjust attack. The Superior HIMARS missiles, which were included in the $14 billion of military aid packages provided by the United States of America from the beginning of the war, almost shaped the war. Apart from the United States, support from Western countries and Turkish-made Bayraktar drones showed outstanding success in the war. In addition, Bayraktar met with the Turkish president to thank him for this and requested more Bayraktar TB2s to be included in the inventory of the Ukrainian army. He also held a meeting with Bayraktar's board of directors and proposed the establishment of a Bayraktar factory in Ukraine, if both countries agree. The latest developments from field analysts on the war are as follows. One of the heaviest operations of the Ukrainian armed forces against Russia was carried out. In the air operation organized by one Ukrainian Air Force fighter jet and 3 Bayraktar TB2 simultaneously, Ukraine inflicted a heavy defeat on the peninsula, which it called Russia's stronghold in the Russian-occupied Crimea, and managed to penetrate the region. After Ukraine's operation, the Kremlin was in an uproar. It suffered a heavy defeat in the region, which it considers its stronghold in the Black Sea, and the only point where it has the opportunity to descend the warm seas, and which is under its own administration and sovereignty. Russia's inability to protect the region under its control has increased the backlash against Putin and exposed the humiliating reactions in Vladimir Putin's army. The main headquarters of the Russian Navy's airbase on the Crimean Peninsula was attacked, and the roof of the headquarters was blown off by Ukrainian warplanes. The footage of the Russian airbase shared on the Telegram channel shows a drone flying over Sevastopol before destroying the headquarters of the Russian airbase. Then the bombardment and dense smoke rising from Sevastopol are seen. After the smoke has cleared, the damage to the area is visible. Several buildings and several Russian warplanes are seen destroyed. In the midst of the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia, where the Russian naval headquarters is located, even Russian settlements have been attacked, and there is a great rush of panicked people in the city, after which many citizens are known to have fled the area out of fear. War experts and analysts have marveled at how Ukraine's fighter jets managed to evade Crimea's air defenses. But Zelensky thanked Erdogan and said that the Bayraktars were so successful that they were able to perform their mission without getting caught by Russian radar. The success of Bayraktar shocked Putin the most, because until Putin saw the success of the Bayraktars, he was constantly praising the Russian air defense systems, even praising the air defense systems. The Russian air defense system was seen as a very powerful system rather than war, and the Russian Defense Ministry saw the air defense systems as an impenetrable wall and did not allow an aircraft, including unmanned aerial vehicles, to pass through. Putin spoke very confidently about the air defense systems in many places and said that it was arguably the most superior system in the world. However, he was unaware of what a superior armed drone Turkey had produced. Bayraktars shocked Putin. Thanks to Bayraktars, the Ukrainian armed forces completely destroyed the air defense systems that Putin considered the most superior system. In the videos shared by Ukrainian media on Telegram channels, It shows how the Russian anti-aircraft defense system, which tried to hit the drone but failed to hit it, was destroyed by the armed drone. Before the videos were shared, Russian officials claimed that they had destroyed Ukraine's drone and that it had fallen on the roof of the Russian airbase. But after the videos, it was seen that this was not the case. The headquarters was being destroyed by the drone. Ukrainian troops are expected to retake Crimea and Crimean Peninsula, which Ukraine considers its own territory, but which Russia annexed in 2014, by the end of the year at latest, according to experts. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Richard Mills said Tuesday that Russia is pushing people across the continent to the brink of nuclear catastrophe as it uses the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant as a nuclear blackmail site and bargaining staging ground for war. While we live in our peaceful country, the United States, Ukraine, and its neighboring countries are living under the threat of a mass nuclear catastrophe, and people are fearing for their lives, Richard Mills told the United Nations Security Council. Russia has created the idea that people's lives are in danger, and only when Russia abandons the nuclear facility can people relax. Before concluding his remarks, Mills called for a demilitarized zone to be established at the facility, and for the IAEA team to be allowed to enter the facility, to conduct security inspections and to take security and protection. In the wake of Russia's failures on the territory under its control, there are claims in Moscow that Putin is doomed. The headlines on the news channel read, "A new leader is coming to Russia." After the war that Russia launched and failed to achieve success, debates emerged and cracks began to form in the Kremlin and Russian politics. After Russia's failed invasion of Ukraine, the political balance in Russia has been turned upside down. In addition to Russian politicians, Russian opposition leaders are expressing their anger against Putin every day. There is a growing opposition to Putin in Russia. The opposition says that they do not understand why the Russian government wants to continue the war so much despite the failure on the territory of Ukraine. The Russian opposition says that they are very tired of the sanctions imposed on the country and that they have a leader who is wearing the country down. They say that countries are turning their backs on Russia, global companies are withdrawing their investments, and it is becoming increasingly difficult for Russia to survive. Russia, which until this war saw itself as a great power, is now facing a major economic crisis. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov said that the Western arms supplies to Ukraine had changed the Kremlin's plans, and that its goals in the war had partially changed. It seems impossible to reach Kiev, which was its goal at the beginning of the war. Lavrov said that the targets are now not only Kiev, but also the Kherson region, the Zaporizhia region, and many other regions, but now they are too far away from Kiev even as a front. Lavrov also tried to threaten that NATO countries were angering Russia by sending arms to Ukraine, and they would be forced to impose sanctions. Despite these statements, European countries have not stopped sending arms to Ukraine.